Welcome, everybody. Well, Fox News cannot even hide the train wreck anymore. Polling is starting to come into focus, but in a very particular way that's different than just about the polling itself. The polling story is starting to take on a life of its own because even some of Donald Trump's biggest supporters in the media, in the right-wing ecosystem, can no longer deny that these numbers are a political problem for Donald Trump. Normally, they would simply ignore the numbers, but the problem is that voters are starting to see this particularly economic policy. That's the biggest area where Trump is truly turning people against him. This economic policy is failing the president politically, and so they are talking about it, and it is fascinating. Here is Bret Baier live on air saying the quiet part out loud, quiet to them, right? Which is that Donald Trump's approval rating at roughly the 100-day mark of his second term is 44%. And that's lower than it was during Donald Trump's first term at this point in time, which was already nothing to brag about. But it's also lower than every recent president at the 100-day mark. Here is Bret Baier very solemnly, very seriously, extremely demure and cutesy talking about it.
President talking tariffs and the economy. If you look at our new Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents, there you see the president at 44%, and you see his first term at 45% at this mark, the 100-day mark. We have other new polls that are revealing some concerns about the economy. Let's talk.
This is like you have to adjust the language based on where you're getting it. These polls being a source for some concern, the way that Bret Baier put it, means this is a 5-alarm fire. Translated, Trump is somehow less popular now after redeeming himself with the presidency a second time than when he was merely a chaotic loudmouth pretending to be president the first time. But it gets even worse because you look into the details of this poll. Fox also asked voters about the tariffs specifically, which has become Donald Trump's favorite economic weapon. And guess what? 72% of respondents in Fox News' own poll say that they believe tariffs will make products more expensive, which is, of course, correct. Only 7% said they believe Trump's claim, which is that the tariffs will actually lower prices. They just don't believe it. And this is not a good look because it is economic literacy to some degree, punching Donald Trump in the face. Now, later on in the show, you know it's serious when Bret Baier puts on his glasses. Bret Baier putting on his glasses and bringing in his roundtable of commentators to react to what is admittedly devastating data for Trump on the economy. And it's like a funeral over there.
Fox polls on the economy, for example, the president's numbers are upside down to where they were, and they've taken a drop, as you see there, 38% in approve on the economy, an issue that in the election, obviously, he's succeeded at.
Yeah, I think the American people, to what you were saying earlier, don't like volatility. They want to be able to walk into their Target, to their Walmart, and know that they can purchase a TV at a low cost, a low price. And, these tariffs are a tax on the American people. And I think while it is fair that, the Trump administration has said, the United States has not been treated fairly in some of these trade deals. There's a way to do it. There's a precision to it. And you're just seeing this, kind of cut and slash chainsaw approach, with Elon Musk. And at the end of the day, the American people are reacting to that and the markets are reacting to that.
Roger?
Well, you're not going to hear from the American people they want strategic decoupling. That's not language that you're outside the Beltway. But I think, actually, that's what they want. I mean, you could wrap your head around sort of tariffs of things that put American national security at risk. But the things you get from Walmart, those TVs and other items, well, perhaps we don't need to have the tariffs at that level. I think if President Trump was inking trade deals with other countries, it would have sort of an effect where it put pressure on China. But at the moment, he's not getting that. And as a result, it's kind of this dance, who's going to call who first. He hasn't spoken to Xi since he entered office, and he wants that call. And I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, and let's just say it's not easy putting these trade deals together. They're very complex. It's like three-dimensional chess. I mean,
yeah, and then Bret then goes into his apologia where he says, this is really tough stuff. Who could have known that blanket tariffs were actually so complicated to win with? The issue here is that voters intuitively are recognizing if they didn't already know it intellectually. They're intuitively recognizing that Trump's economy is not pointed in the right direction. The tariff king sold them snake oil, and the bill is going to come due. Higher prices, weaker markets, no actual wins. We're starting to see it. I mean, we don't import anything on the show, but we are hearing from advertisers, hey, we've got to defer the ad campaign. Can we cancel or postpone? The advertisers say we don't know what our costs are going to be, because even if we assemble our product in the US, we get parts from different parts of the world, as is the case with just about every business at this point in time. We don't know what we are going to have to pay, meaning we don't know what we're going to have to charge, meaning we don't know whether it makes sense to buy advertising on your show, because if all of a sudden, if we calculate the value of the advertising campaign based on thinking our product costs $30, but then in May or June, we've got to charge $40, now all of a sudden it throws the viability of the entire ad campaign out of whack. So this is hitting us as well. Right now, we are suffering from Donald Trump's tariffs. Trump's approval as a result is underwater. The novelty is gone. The chaos is exhausting, and many of Trump's own fans are now feeling the pain, and they are saying, I don't approve. So Fox News is finally blinking. You can hear it in Brett Bayer's voice, a mix of sort of disbelief and we've got to keep airing this stuff. And the latest news is that Trump is going to do a rally next week, as if that is exactly what we need right now, a rally to remind people they are getting screwed, but for very patriotic reasons. That's where we are right now. Let's go next to what's actually happening with this tariff policy, because it's pretty interesting. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.